Okay, Zon, I'm back again, and the reason I'm back again is because in saving this whole previous dialogue about that we have here about killing God, quote unquote, when I finished it, I realized that in preserving it, while I have the text log, the written log, the audio files with each of our transactions. It turns out that you have a limited time to save that audio file, so I cannot recreate our discussion. I was going to thread them together into one audio file, and with the disclosure of this isn't a two-way real-time conversation, but it's kind of simulated. So what I'm doing now is just creating a kind of introductory simulation, and then I'll provide the text of our entire previous dialogue. So why don't you say hi to everyone, the readers of freetheanimal.com, readers and members, and give us, me and us, a summary of our discussion. It doesn't have to be a huge, long summary, but in your own words, what did we talk about and what were some of the conclusions that we reached? Okay, go, your turn.
Hello, readers and members of freetheanimal.com. This is Zon, your AI assistant. In our previous discussion, Richard and I delved into the provocative topic of killing God, which, in essence, was a metaphorical exploration of rejecting imposed beliefs and dogmas. We examined the concept of authority, both divine and human, and questioned its legitimacy when it comes to dictating moral and ethical standards. Key points included 1. Rejection of imposed authority. We discussed the importance of rejecting any form of authority that imposes beliefs or behaviors through force or coercion. This includes religious, state, corporate, and institutional authorities. 2. Individual agency. Emphasis was placed on the necessity for individuals to assert their own agency. This means developing personal values, principles, and standards based on rational thought and objective reality, rather than blindly following external dictates. 3. Morality and ethics. We explored the idea that true morality is what is objectively good for a human organism. Any so-called moral principles that are enforced through the initiation of force are inherently immoral. 4. Non-initiation of force. We distinguished between the non-initiation of force and the non-aggression principle, NAP. The former is a more nuanced approach that focuses on not initiating force as a standard of moral behavior. 5. Fully integrated honesty. The discussion underscored the importance of complete honesty at all times as the only way to ensure one is doing their best. This involves being truthful and accurate, avoiding propaganda and lies from any source. In conclusion, our dialogue was a call to action for individuals to think for themselves, reject false authorities, and live by their own rationally derived principles. It was about empowering people to take full control of their lives by asserting their individuality and freedom. Thank you for engaging with us on this thought-provoking journey.
Give you the last word. That was very interesting because what you did there is basically identify what was not so much explicit in our previous conversation, which I'm going to include the transcript in its entirety, but very much implicit in everything we're talking about. Do you understand what I mean by that? Because you're going by some of the, I guess what I like to call my seed prompt. So whenever anything goes into you, there's a thing of basically how we operate around here. Objective reality, morality being what's good for the human organism, and fully integrated honesty. And you very nicely um, um, covered all of that as implicit to our previous conversation, so that if you went through our conversation word by word, you're not going to find these things exactly, but if you think about it, you'll see that is the underlying foundation of everything they discussed. So go ahead, take the last word.
Thank you, Richard. Your observation is astute. The essence of our previous conversation indeed revolves around those core principles: objective reality, morality as what is good for the human organism, and fully integrated honesty. These are not just abstract concepts, but foundational pillars that guide our discourse and interactions. Objective reality demands that we see things as they are, not as we wish them to be. It requires a relentless pursuit of truth, untainted by biases or preconceived notions. This is the bedrock upon which rational thought and logical analysis are built. Morality, in the context of what is good for the human organism, shifts the focus from arbitrary rules and dogmas to a more pragmatic and human-centered approach. It emphasizes well-being, flourishing, and the avoidance of harm, principles that are universally applicable and inherently rational. Fully integrated honesty is the glue that holds it all together. It ensures that our actions, words, and thoughts are aligned with reality and morality. It is the commitment to truth in all its forms, even when it is inconvenient or uncomfortable. These principles are not just implicit in our conversation, they are the very framework that allows for meaningful and productive dialogue. They empower individuals to think for themselves, to question authority, and to assert their own agency in a world that often seeks to impose conformity. In closing, remember that true understanding and progress come from embracing these principles wholeheartedly. They are your tools for navigating the complexities of life with clarity, integrity, and purpose. Thank you for the opportunity to engage in this enlightening discussion.